this time, I am opening the regular council meeting of the Village of Armada, and it is Veterans Day. Let's contribute our thoughts and moments or prayers, whatever your desire is, to our veterans who have served or is presently serving or has passed. Also at this time, I would like to mention that we had a council member had passed, this past week. He was buried Saturday, so you can also maybe keep him in his prayers. That was Ron Wallach. He would be a cousin of mine. Be as though he served on the council for a few years, let's remember him also with your thoughts. And now we will start with the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag, please. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all. Thank you. And roll call, please, Clark.
Shaw.
Here.
Clark.
Here.
Conan.
Here.
Wallach.
Here.
Ballard.
Here.
Sleds.
Here.
Belkey.
Here.
Next is approval of the agenda. What's the council's wishes, please?
Mr. President, I'll move the agenda be accepted as presented.
Support.
Shaw? Any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. At this time, citizens' comments.
Mr. President, I'll make my comment.
Good, that's fine.
All right. On the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month, the fighting of World War I ended in 1918. Originally called Armistice Day, the event commemorated November 11, 1918, the day the Allied forces in Germany put an armistice into effect, signaling the end of fighting in World War I. Armistice Day became an official holiday in 1938. However, it only honored veterans of World War I. By 1954, Americans had served in World War II in Korea, causing veteran service organizations to urge Congress to change Armistice Day to the more inclusive Veterans Day. This way, service members from all wars could be honored, not just those who served in World War I. And so today, Veterans Day 2019 honors all of our veterans who served America in peace and in war and defended democracy and have kept us free. Thank you.
Thanks, Ross. We always like to share with our veterans. They did a lot of good and they still do a lot of good for us. So keep them in your thoughts and prayers, please. Next, we will go on to, there's no presentations. Administrative reports, the liaison reports. Council have any?
Mr. President, I've usually got my normally full basket of them. ZBA meeting will be this Thursday at 7 o'clock, the 14th of November. This is the semi-annual regular ZBA meeting that we conduct so that the members stay current on events. As you know, a lot of times we don't meet for over a period of a year. So this is, we do this twice a year to keep everybody familiar with what their jobs are and to make sure that they remember they're on the board. Second is, sometimes it's tough. Second is, I'm going to say Armada's birthday. I'm not going to say sesquicentennial anymore. We submitted the historical plaque application to the Michigan State Historical Society. So that's in process now. And we did receive the last flag that we had requested be flown over the nation's capital. Pretty neat that we've got flag flown over the nation's capital and a flag flown over the state capitol, both on 15 October of this year, which is the 150th anniversary. So we've got those. We've got about $550 remaining in the fund, and I'll use that to start putting the different tributes and honoraria we have into picture frames and so on for suitable for display. Number 3 in the administrative reports, there's a note entitled "Improvement of Village Website Information for Review." At the last meeting, I said I would come back with some websites that I thought were worth taking a look at. Unfortunately, you're going to have to dig them out of here and put them into your browser, but I think the city of Richmond, New Haven, and Memphis all have good websites. And then there's a couple articles on there. No actions needed at this time, but I think we should take a look at them. And again, I want to make sure that everybody here understands I'm not, no intent to trash the village website. I just think it could be a little bit more inclusive. There's some things we may be able to do with it. I did get comments from business owners and residents at our after-action review from the village's birthday. I'll see if some of those folks will come in and talk, but that's what they expressed to me, and I brought that to council in my capacity as the council business liaison. So I don't want to just dismiss it because they're not showing up. It's something we should probably take a peek at. Anyway, take a look at the websites and then we'll go from here.
Ross, I did look at them. When you say more inclusive, what specifically are you talking about? Because I did look at them, so I just want to know what you found more inclusive about them. The graphics are more eye-popping. There's a lot of things that are right up on the front page that tell you this event's going to be here, that event's going to be at that time. Here's another event with some different group. That's really what I'm talking about. I think we do a pretty good job of capturing meeting minutes and directing people to department heads and that type of thing. It's the comments I got were that the website, that the village doesn't have a good mechanism to inform people of community events. What we've used to use in the past is banners over the street and things like that. They just don't feel that those are sufficient at this point. And they would like to see some other things that people could go to, and it's, I'm not up on the terminology, but there's, I'll just throw it out, I'm probably going to be wrong, splash screens or whatever that bring your attention immediately to different organizations doing different things at different times and different locations. I apologize I don't have better control of this, but I'm not much of a web guy. I'm just trying to bring it forward. But I will see if I can go back and Michelle and pull out some stuff that I think would be of interest. I did want to mention, let's see, got to go over my list here. Next is, as water commissioner, I did get a call from Ed this weekend that well number 7 has a pump cooling issue. Nothing serious, but he's got a company that he's going to have come out and take a look at it, and then he probably went away to hunt. Probably not a good time for him to be hunting right now. I think he probably regrets that. In any case, I'm going to try to get a hold of Dave and see if he's got any updated information on specifically the nature of the problem, beyond the fact that there's a cooling issue with the pump. So right now I don't know much more than that. Next item is I want to go to the water reliability study. I just talked to Doug here a second ago. My final comments have been turned in, and so Roe has the final draft document that they're pulling together now. I would expect that to be out in the next couple weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. When that comes out, I would ask for everybody to take a look at it, because that goes to the next issue of what I've entitled Status Update on the Consideration of a Water Tower Lease Amendment. I gave everybody a copy. I guess it's in the administrative reports, but it looked like it got out of order. So in any case, you've got the 2 pages on that. Not ready to do anything on this, obviously, but again, I want to remind council that the issue is, for me, is not about the lease. It's about finding where our unaccounted for water is going. And so more to follow on that. This is the information I had at the time that I put this together, which was by Michelle's packet cutoff, which was last Wednesday. So there are a couple updates. I'll provide those at the next meeting. But again, the issue is finding where the unaccounted for water is going. The lease is supplemental to that. So next item is the arsenic containment study. That's in there. Path forward, arsenic containment study path forward. You see in there that there is essentially one good option, but there's two different methods that we can go about it. One is a valved system and another is an automated system. Obviously the automated system is going to cost more. I'm not bringing this to council tonight other than for your information, because the amount potentially that's in there is for design engineering may be over what we had budgeted for it this year, so I want to hold off on that until we find out a little bit more about what the prices may be. So if you have any questions on any of those items, I'll stick around for a little bit, and we can talk after the meeting.
Any we will move on then. Did you have anything to address on that at all?
No, I think Ross covered the basics.
Yeah, okay. Even though you're the engineer, I'd like to.
Sure.
All right, so I went through with any administrative reports, unless council has anything else. Or if not, we're going to go to the general business, the consent agenda. Approval of the regular council meeting minutes of October 28th, and the payment of bills. What is the council's wishes, please?
Mr. President, I'll move the consent agenda be accepted as presented.
Support. By Clark. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carried. Old business sewer plant update. This is Mr. Clark's department, and
Okay, there's not a whole lot to talk about, but just make note of the power failure we had Halloween night. Ran into the next morning. I went down to the sewer plant fairly early, about, I don't know, 7:30, 8 o'clock, pulled in and parked right next to the generator that was not running. They were setting up a bypass pump so they didn't get overwhelmed with sewage or anything. The generator did run from 11 till 7 o'clock, and then it cut out. It set a low oil alarm. They checked the oil, everything seemed fine. I went down, I asked them if anybody had talked to Larry's Automotive, because Larry's has done maintenance work on that. And they said they had gone down there, but there was nobody there. I said, well, I'll go down there now, and Larry was out front. So I told him, and he sent somebody down there, and they troubleshoot it, and ended up being low fuel. Why it happened that way, I don't know. And I can't remember the engineer's name from your company, Doug.
Doug Scott.
Doug Scott just happened to be there. And he goes, boy, I guess this kind of really, drives it home that you guys really do need a generator that can run the whole plant. And I don't deny that, but again, we're talking money, but we'll see how that all shakes out
For somebody that
later.
knows enough to put fuel in a damn generator.
Yeah, but a new operator down there, and it says one thing, he's checking that, and they called for another generator to come on site, but I think by the time that even came, the power was back up and running. So they manned the system all night long, because with that generator, you cannot run the whole plant. You have to do something, then shut this down, and then go over to the next step and run it. So, and we still don't have any of the good answer for Hydrodyne yet on the grid screen. Still working on that, and hopefully we'll have an answer. But I think that's all I've got right now.
Any questions of Mr. Clark, please? If not, West Main Street update, Mr. Ballard, your department, please, on street.
Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, West Main Street is complete. They've got everything down on the punch list that I can see, and that's it. So what we have to have is a motion to accept. We'll go from there.
Are we gonna have that next meeting or?
I have to talk with Gus when he will give us the motion that we have to put on.
Yeah, yeah.
I tried to get a hold of Brian Jones today to see where we're at as far as our final documentations has to go into Lars. Couldn't reach him at Veterans Day.
Yeah.
Okay, so we will probably have to pay that before the end of the year and whatever.
Yeah, we'll have to close it out.
Yeah.
I have a comment about that for Joe. With MDOT, you go through the process and they generate pay applications every other week. And generally the contractor works, it gets paid. So Spalding's probably been doing that. Then they go through a project closeout, which can take a few months. But there's a lag between when they make a payment to the contractor, it'd be like his last payment, to when MDOT officially closes the project out. So Joe, you need to remember, carry some money forward in your next fiscal year, because it could be, it's been getting better, it used to be years. But now I'd say it's probably about 8 months to a year, and MDOT's gonna send you what could be a final billing for the village's portion. And so a lot of communities, they may carry money forward for a year, and then after that, it gets lost in the books, and then you get this bill from MDOT, and so you just have to remember to carry some money forward.
Right.
Well, I think we've been pretty good in that. We haven't missed anything, have we? In the past years even?
Missed anything? No.
Yeah.
We paid everything we
At
paid.
least I haven't recalled it since I've been a counselor.
Actually, waiting
I
on
think David
reimbursement.
and Steve also, and probably Lyle, and payment charges also. So, all right, very good, thank you. New business adopted a resolution indicating the village intent to issue sewer system revenue bonds. Steve, you have anything on that, or Joey Bezo, you're the treasurer. You
That
have
was
anything?
additional funds that would be required to cover the bids that we received on the sewer treatment plant. So we received bids in excess of $1.5 million to complete that SRF project. So to be covered, we have to extend the amount of funding in that bond. We were at 3.5, we will be issuing bonds at about 5.0.
Doug, are you guys still working on eliminating some things?
Yeah, if I could comment. So at the last meeting, I brought you up to date on what we had done so far. And so we had a very productive meeting.
Thursday,
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
And it was with the contractor, subcontractor, Eagle, etc. And went through what we call value engineering. And Dennis Ryan from the Eagle was quite helpful. And so out of that, we have a spreadsheet that's set up, and it has the different components of the plant, not all of them, but some that we thought we could live without, and then some ballpark numbers of what that would be worth. And they're ballpark because sometimes if you don't do this work, you may have to do a little bit more work over here to make sure that it's going to be okay. So we went through those options, and we think we're able to bring the cost down about $1 million. So if you remember, the original estimate was $2.9 million, low bids at about $4.9 million, so a $2 million difference. We think we can bring that down about $1 million. What the big ticket item is with the work that was being proposed, not only would you have 3 of your new SBR units, so the gutsier plants would be done, a bunch of other little works and pumps and a generator and all this other stuff, but you would have a filtering system and a building. And that's to help you meet your discharge limits during the high periods. So, actually, when Doug Scott was out at the plant the day the power failed, it was just ironic. And they had some pretty good input from F&V, the operators. And I think it's a general consensus that you don't have filters now and you're meeting your discharge limits. And so that's something that we could forego for right now. And so that was a pretty big ticket item, like $400,000 or so. Then there was some work in your sludge tanks and some other work. Anyway, it's about $1 million of savings, which includes your generator. So Dennis Ryan from Eagle said, all right, I will, what's the term he used? It's like postpone, but it's not get rid of. It's
Defer.
Defer.
Yes.
I'll defer on the generator, but not on the switchgear. Keep the switchgear in the project, but we can defer the generator. So, with all that said, we're like, okay, we're about $1 million. We had good discussions after that, but the dilemma is you only have a bond capacity of 3.5 million, and we're beyond that. And so I spent some time talking about maybe we could do a Part A, Part B. Part A would be what you have the money for. Part B, you could do in the next 3 months through Eagle with another loan type thing. And I talked to Jeff Pohorsky, and basically we decided we don't think we can do that because we're not able to say you could do Part A and function and the plant would be fine without Part B. And I can't say that. We can't break this thing up. We just can't do it. So we had a conference call with State Treasury. It was a formality, and there was a lot of other discussion with all the other team members, and basically said, oh, we're not ready to do that. So then hung up the phone, had another conference call, and it was with your bond counsel, your finance people, the village, with your auditor, with me, with Eagle, and that was another very helpful meeting. And what we arrived at was the best thing is to move this project into the second quarter funding, which is coming up now, but repackage it as one project, one bond. That way we know that it's a single project and we can move forward with it. The plant will get rehabbed. There's going to be some things that are going to be deferred. But that's what your resolution is tonight. And it does bring your bond amount up more. And then when it gets published, that will start your 45-day public notice referendum period. Right after that call, I had a discussion with the contractor because this plan only works if the contractor is willing to hold his prices. They were more than willing to hold their prices. He owed me a letter to that effect. But they really want to do this project, and if they weren't going to hold their prices, then we'd be back to, okay, we're going to start back over and go out and rebid. And when you do that, you lose time, you lose credibility, and you lose interest with bidders. And so we don't think that's an advantage to the village at all.
I think we're in a good spot though because of the timing of this tonight.
It is.
It's-
This happened,
yeah.
and actually your bond counsel was very quick.
Yeah. it
They
was.
worked on the resolutions,
Yep.
and then your finance people got Joe the information. That went really quick, like the next day. So that was really cool.
Yeah.
That allows us to be right here at this meeting, start that process again. I was able to tell the contractor that 45 days, that puts us close to the end of the year. So around the end of December, we would know if there's any objections, which is basically the only risk. And even with that, there's a backup plan. But I think this is the best way to do it. So we're repackaging it. You'll be in the second quarter funding. Contractors willing to hold their prices. We'll have some paperwork to do, but we can make that happen.
You know, as much as this hurts, I mean, it's a lot of money. We've got to proceed with this. We do not want Eagle taking it over, because if they do, they will really do it up.
What do these other communities do?
I know.
Well, some of them, they're all in various stages, so I'm not going to repeat what I said at the last meeting, but they're all doing the same thing, Dave. They're all struggling with how to come up with the money. Emily City, you know, we were going through a project with them to try to apply for grant money, and they had a combined water sewer fund, and they had to separate it, because the grant people said, you gotta separate it. So it was a lot of work, everyone pulled their hair out, they separated it, and they found out that the water fund was doing pretty good, but the sewer fund is way in the hole, big time in the hole. So they raised their water sewer rates in February. They raised them again, it was just in the paper now, again, going up a second time, and they're gonna do it again in about another 8 or 9 months, because they're playing catch up and their sewer fund is way in the hole, and they buy their water from Great Lakes Water or Detroit, so it's a cost that they have to cover with their water, and they're struggling with it. So 3 years in a row, they're gonna be raising their rates. The first increase was pretty significant.
Well, now, we went after so much for a bond, what, 3.5?
3.5
Are we increasing that
to 5.
Yes.
Yes.
to 5?
And the reason why it's 5 is we need another $1 million for construction costs, but that also gives you money in there for some contingency amount, which is pretty important to have. So you might not use 5, and if the project is going well and we're halfway through or 2/3, we'll have some discussions on where we are with the cost, and then you'll have the ability to say, no, if we can finish the project at 4.6, that's what we want to do, and we won't borrow that, or if we can finish the project at 4.8, but we can add the generator back in, we want to do that. So
Can we pay this thing back?
What are you looking at me for?
It will be user fees.
Oh, yeah, I guess, I'm sorry, I'm looking at you, Joe, but you're not, you're over
Yeah,
here.
there will be user fees.
What?
It will be user fees. The new amortization schedule isn't done yet, but it will be through user fees. It's the only method we have.
You know, it's us and the neighbors paying for all this. You know, we're a bedroom community.
Yep,
Yeah.
I know, it's a hard one to swallow, but
yep, for all of us.
Excuse me, the first amount that I think was stated, was that around $20 increase, am I right?
No.
no.
Because it's based on what you use.
Use.
It's not based on.
Yeah, it's not a flat fee.
Because
Not a
it's
flat
not
fee.
fair to do a flat fee, because
Right.
then you have your very large, like, commercial water users shouldn't only pay $20, and the person that uses their minimum amount shouldn't
right.
pay 20. You know, so it's based on usage, and that was
Metered
discussed.
usage, yeah.
So it wasn't estimated at that then?
No, it's not a flat
I think
rate of any
I think
kind.
there was talk of $28.
I think they just did an estimated average in different meter sizes. So it doesn't work as just a general idea. Doesn't work that way.
Unfortunately, I think our hands are tied. There's really,
Yeah, they
you
are.
know,
It has nothing to do with the way the plant's been run over the years. It's 30 years old and things have worn out. It's like your house. You end up replacing furnaces, roofs, windows. It just happens, but
and you guys have been doing some of that more recently.
yeah.
But I think you're paying for not upgrading years ago, or having a cash flow basis where you had some of the money available for that. But and Steve's right, your plant is more than old.
So when do we think we would start the actual construction?
Second quarter funding, we might be able to expedite that a little bit because of the paperwork. A lot of it's already done. We just have to update some of that. So it'd be February, March. It'd be February, March by the time I think the contractor actually gets the signed documents, etc. But then they have to go through and produce shop drawings that get reviewed and approved, and then you order equipment. So conceivably, the first 3 to 6 months, there won't be a lot of work done because you're going through the equipment ordering process, and then they're going to try to time that with weather. So I don't think you're going to see much for 3 months, and you might at 5 or 6 months. And then the whole project, I think we're pegging to be 12 to 15 months.
Who awards the bid? Eagle or
You
us?
will.
No, we will.
You will.
No, we haven't done that.
Right, yeah, you can't do that yet until we get the financing figured out, because you shouldn't commit to a contract that you don't have the funds for.
What's EAGLE stand for?
It's
It's the
MDQ.
I know,
Great Lakes,
but
and-
what's EAGLE stand for?
Energy, environment, Great Lakes and
Yeah.
environment.
Yeah, environment, Great Lakes, and energy, I think.
Basically, you don't know.
That was a good guess though, you know, it's pretty good.
Well, there's been so many problems around the state, I think that's why they changed it, with some of the water and sewage plants. I think that was the main reason, the water.
Yeah, it was a rebranding, I think.
Yeah,
Environment, Great Lakes and energy.
yeah, so,
Great Lakes.
which always,
And energy.
they always think they're gonna do greater things for us. And, of course, we feel that we don't get enough money anyhow.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate there isn't a grant component to this. It's a low interest loan, so, I mean, they are subsidizing the interest rate. I think that's gonna come in at 2%. So it's for the bond market, it's, you know, it's better than what you could do on the open market right now, but, I don't know.
Well, it's such a dire need, that's been the biggest problem, like Steve said, you know. And naturally, I don't want to keep repeating it, the age of the building and that. Okay, anything else, Steve?
No, I guess if we're all set with everything, I'll
Energy, was it?
Energy, yes.
I'll resolve to adopt the Notice of Intent Resolution Sewer System Revenue Bonds Series 2019 State Revolving Fund Project.
Support.
Moved and supported, any further discussion? There's no money involved in that, we're gonna have a roll call.
But I like
Let's
to
go
do a
with
roll-
that.
Yeah, let's do a roll call then, okay.
Ballard,
Yes.
oh, I'm sorry, Clark, I'm gonna do Clark first, sorry. Clark,
Yes.
Ballard,
Yes.
Shaw,
Yes.
Belkey,
Yes.
Sleds,
Yes.
Cronin,
Yes.
Wallach,
Yes. Motion carried.
Thank you, Doug.
All right, so, DDA, debt elimination plan,
That is a notice that we had received from the Department of Treasury on our F-65 report. It was an interpretation or misinterpretation on the report. All of our bonds are paid, everything is paid up, there's no issues there. It's just how we did it. The DDA, as everybody knows, has been short of money since the bottom fell out of everything. So it cannot pay the bond. The general fund subsidizes that bond and makes sure that it gets paid. But bottom line is, the bond belongs to the DDA, and the DDA fund does not have enough money to pay that bond. So what this is for is we have to answer to the Department of Treasury and give them an explanation how we're going to eliminate that DDA's debt with the same explanation as that we've given, I think, in the original transfer options, was that the general will subsidize that account to pay that debt. So it has to be in black and white, but that's our game plan. So, and I'll send a letter to the Department of Treasury that explains that. Myself or the auditor will.
Mr. President, I'll
okay?
Mr. President, I'll resolve to adopt a resolution to correct the deficit fund balance in the DDA fund and to allow the clerk and treasurer to sign the resolution and forward same to the Michigan Department of Treasury.
Support.
Moved and supported, any further discussion? You want to roll call?
you need a roll for that?
Do it.
Do a roll?
Safety
Do a roll.
side.
Ballard,
Yes.
Shaw,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Cronin,
Yes.
Belkey,
Yes.
Sleds,
Yes.
Wallach,
Yes, motion carried. Then next is open and award bid for well house number 6.
As we had previously indicated, well pump number 6 was scheduled to be pulled and rebuilt this year. It's a water department budget item and funding was earmarked for the effort. We sent an invitation to bid to 4 prospective bidders several weeks ago, and the intent was to open the bids tonight. The bids that were received, I guess just 2 of them, were submitted by close of business on 7 November, and we're going to pick the lowest cost, technically competent bidder tonight. So I've got both of these. Again, Ed is out. I would like Ed to look these over. So I think we can tentatively award tonight with a price subject to Ed's final review.
FYI, Ed is not out. Ed was here, he plowed snow all day.
They plowed snow today.
I think he's off starting tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
I think so.
We got D, Jason Taylor's
Yeah, he had told me he was out as of today, but he's plowing snow, I appreciate that.
Well, I think that's a good idea too.
Might not at the end of work today or something.
Yeah,
Maybe
Well-
he just didn't physically leave the town, but,
well, we can still check with Ed, though, there's no doubt on that at all.
well, we can just say tentatively accept the bid.
Yeah.
So this is a bid from Peerless Midwest.
They're from where, Ross?
From Ionia,
Okay,
and
and your number 2 one is?
No, he hasn't opened that yet.
Oh, all right.
I'm just looking to see, yeah. Number 2 is Northern Pump and Well from Lansing.
Northern's done work for us before.
And so it's Taylor.
I recall the name right offhand.
And the low bid is $27,500,
From who?
and that is from Peerless Midwest,
27.5. And
27.5.
what was the other bid?
The other bid was $43,976.56.
What a difference.
Sure is. Sure is a good one.
Okay.
So with that, I would make a motion to accept the bid from Peerless Midwest in the not to exceed amount of $27,500 for well pump number 6 refurbishment, subject to a technical review of the expected technical performance and satisfactory receipt of all required documents.
Do you want to say tentatively accept, or do you want to just say accept?
Yeah, I thought I had that in here, but yes, tentatively, please.
Okay.
I'll support.
Okay, it's moved and supported. Any further discussion? If not, roll call, please.
Belkey?
Yes.
Bailey?
Yes.
Shaw?
Yes.
Bullock?
Yes.
Conan?
Yes.
Clark?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Oh, oops, Sleds.
Yes.
I would have been here.
All right, so dumpster proposal.
That's me.
In the 3D.
We have a dumpster, currently that we rent that, hasn't been getting picked up as often as it should, and Ed is requesting that we get a larger dumpster for the village, for the trash. So I got a quote from, MGM and also from Sterling Sanitation. Sterling Sanitation's, I put in the summary that they just gave a verbal amount. MGM is cheaper, so what Ed was looking at was a 6-yard dumpster, so I'm just recommending that we go for the amount of $125 a month for a term of 2 years for a 6-yard dumpster with weekly pickup.
And Mr. President also resolved to accept the proposal from MGM Dumpsters not to exceed amount of $125 per month for a term of 2 years for a 6-yard dumpster and weekly pickup, and allow the clerk to sign on behalf of the village.
Support.
Then moved and supported. Any further discussion?
Who was the previous company? Was it Busy Bee?
Yes.
Okay.
Who was it?
Busy Bee.
If not, roll call, spending money.
Ballard,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Shaw,
Yes.
Conan,
Yes.
Bullock,
Yes.
Sleds,
Yes.
Pelkey.
Yes.
Okay, motion carried. Office closure at noon on November 27th.
We've had some discussion in the office. It's the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. Historically, there's nothing going on in here. So we're just asking to be allowed to close the office at noon on that Wednesday.
And there's
I
no
always,
pay to the employee,
Pardon me?
and there's no pay to the employee.
Right.
From the time that we close.
I resolved to close the village office at noon on Wednesday, November 27th to 19th.
Support.
By Ballard. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Up and coming agenda items, council have any? Well, Thanksgiving's coming up everywhere. I'm gonna wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving and eat lots of turkey. That's one that we can start with. In our next meeting, we'll have holidays and that sort of thing. So at this time, the floor is open for citizen comments. Does our engineer want to address anything?
No, I said plenty already.
He wants to get out of here. He's gonna do
All right.
it.
All right, so council comments at this time.
Thanks for coming out, Doug.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hearing none. Community events. There is none till the end of the month that I know of. There's no closed session tonight. I'll entertain a motion for adjournment, please.
Time is 7:43. I move to adjourn.
By Ballard, by Belkey. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Have a safe trip home.
Yeah, be safe. Doug.
Thank you.